Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Detrone Does It. Of course, I am Detrone and I does stuff. And this week, I'm taking a look at a shoe icon, and specifically the Nike Dunk. And today's discussion is going to be more about the functional difference between the Nike Dunk OG, the Nike Dunk Disrupt, and the Nike Dunk Next Nature. Before we get into today's discussion about the differences between these shoes, let me first give you a brief history about the Nike Dunk. In 1985, Peter Moore, the same person who designed the Jordan Air 1, designed the Nike Dunk. The Dunk got its start with more of a college crowd because of the wide variety of colors that were available. That meant they could rep their school really easily with a cool pair of shoes. And this was way before the shoe became an icon in the skater scene. Now, if you fast forward 36 years or so, the Dunk has had some highs, a couple of lows, but they are firmly in high demand right now. So with all that being said, the question for today is, what's the difference? Well, we're going to start where most shoes starts, and that's the construction. And the most uniquely constructed shoe of all three of these styles is definitely the Nike Dunk Next Nature. The reason the Nike Dunk Next Nature is the most uniquely constructed of the three is because it's made of recycled materials. 20% recycled materials by weight. The upper is a synthetic leather. You've got a crushed rubber sole that is apparent on all of the Nike Next Nature, which, by the way, this one and the pale coral are both Nike Next Nature. You can also tell by this unique green insole. These shoes are a part of Nike's Move to Zero campaign, which is their effort to create a more sustainable future through their products. While this shoe uses some recycled materials as a way to push Nike forward in their goals, the Nike OG and the Disrupt, they use similar traditional materials for crafting the shoe. So of course the Dunk Next Nature is the most uniquely constructed shoe, but the most unique looking shoe of the bunch is definitely the Nike Disrupt. These things look different because they are different. The Nike Disrupt is a bold deviation from your standard Dunk. And there's a reason why. These shoes were designed specifically for women. They were a mix of the Nike Dunk and also a Nike Air Trainer from like the mid 80s. And this thick midsole that they provide, this additional assistance strap, and this netted toe box really creates a different silhouette for this shoe versus its cousins, the Next Nature or the OG. What I think is really unique about this shoe is how each piece of the upper really seems like it came independently from the rest of the pieces. They all seem to be just thrown on, and it gives it a really creative look. But I'm partial to the very clean aesthetic of your Nike original Dunk. This thing is just a classic looking shoe. You can get this thing in a variety of colors, more than either one of these shoes, and that's because it's been around the longest. And they even have some throwbacks to their original college-inspired days, where they still release packs like the Kentucky Blue and Whites, Michigan State Green and Whites, the University of Michigan, and UNLV. They're definitely staying true to the roots of this shoe. There are minor detail differences as well between these shoes that some people don't even notice. One of the things I like to point out is the tongue on the shoe. As you can see on the original Dunk, the black piping matching your black Nike check goes around the tongue of the shoe and around the collar of the shoe. One of the things that you don't get when you get into the Nike Next Nature. So the tongue on the Nike Next Nature is piped in white. On both of these shoes, you can see that's visible. And if you compare these two shoes, you can see that that black collar really makes the Nike Dunk Original stand out, where if this had a pale coral collar, man, it'd make it stand out a little bit more. Also, the sole of these shoes, you can tell the original Dunk has the black that matches the check, which matches the tongue. And with your Next Nature, you get that ground up grayish rubber sole, which still is nice, but doesn't do the color the same way that the original Dunk does. So now that we've talked about the construction a bit and we've talked about the visual difference between the shoes, let's talk about the financial difference, because resale for shoes like these have become an important part of the sneaker community. And of course, the Nike Dunk is no different. Using StockX, one of the largest sneaker marketplaces in the US, you can get a very clear picture of the value difference between these three shoes. So that's it, guys. What do you think? Are you a fan of the OG? Can you see the Jordan 1 influence on this shoe? I feel like I can. Are you giving the Disrupt a try? Or are you moving to zero with Nike and picking up yourself a pair of these next Nature Dunks? Either way, let me know down in the comments below. And also, tell me if I missed something. I'm a shoe fan and I'm a fan of the Dunks, but I'm no expert. You know what? As always, please like, share, subscribe, hit that notification button, get some alerts. Find out when we're dropping new videos, which is usually on Mondays and sometimes in the middle of the week. And if you decide not to like, share, or subscribe, you know what? I won't even be mad at you. Till next time, guys. Peace. My shoes.